Hello everybody, and welcome to our pre-full moon Pisces meditation. The actual time of the full moon is a little less than 24 hours from now. It's at 5:08 and 18 seconds p.m. GMT, tomorrow, Sunday, on the 16th. So we'll have plenty of time to get ready for that, building up to a reception from the energies of this most sensitive and important sign of finality, of climax, of consummation, a sign of synthesis, really, in its highest expression. We see the Jofra illustration here. It's done somewhat in the old way. The figure in the center is very reminiscent of the Lord Neptune, as he's usually depicted. Even the face is that way. The two fishes are bound together, and here we have the fish of the soul and the fish of the personality, and they are in a kind of involuntary bondage with each other at first. The soul consciousness, immersed in matter, is in bondage to the personality elemental and its way of reacting in the world of form, and after much suffering and many hundreds, even thousands of incarnations, there is a reversal of this, corresponding to the reversal of the wheel, and the elemental nature, the personality, comes into bondage to that great pervasive wisdom that we find in Pisces, and becomes the servant of the soul and the savior of all. Venus, in a way, Venus, the solar angel, is exalted in this sign and has risen to its highest level of expression, and the consummation occurs, and the fourth initiation can occur, leading to far greater freedom in the worlds of the spiritual triad. The great mantra, I leave the Father's home, and turning back I save. The Father's home is the monadic plane. Interestingly, Pisces is one of the rulers of the monadic plane, because that's what the monad does. It goes forth into the 5 lower worlds of life in the human and superhuman kingdoms, and it returns one day to the 6th plane, or the 2nd plane, depending on how you want to look at it. It is a salvational journey, and so many people that are born in or under Pisces realize the necessity to serve and save their fellow human beings. They have that kind of compassion, that kind of sensitivity, which brings the condition of their fellow human beings into their heart and into their consciousness. The Christ was such a one. I believe that as a great master and the head of our spiritual hierarchy, Pisces is one of his major signs, that great cosmic decanate, Pisces, and also Libra, as he is the Prince of Peace. Jupiter is the initial ruler of Pisces, giving the immersion in matter, engulfed by matter at first. The whale swallows Jonah, so to speak, and later Jonah finds his way out of the whale through the destructive power of Pluto, which is the esoteric ruler, and also the hierarchical ruler, a great severing from the realm of illusion is possible. Now, what is the realm of illusion? It can be considered the lower 3 worlds, but even the lower 5 worlds from the perspective of the monad. These lower 5 worlds, which are the realm of the third aspect of divinity, the realm of Brahma. These are worlds of illusion, and eventually Pluto, which is an agent of Shambhala, severs the monad entirely from the lower 5 worlds, and it is free to pursue its path on the way of higher evolution. Francis Donald has provided us with some beautiful images. Here, the man in the chrysalis and the great Lord of Will behind him. I'll read a little bit of what Francis said, and here we have the fish immersed in the waters, the fish personality, and the rider gradually extricating himself from these waters through the great divine geometry. Really beautiful figure. The eyes of the Christ loom above this. Let's see a little of what Francis says about this. Chrysalis, he calls it, in the first cycle of experience upon the wheel, the soul finds itself in captivity to substance. It has come down into the prison house of matter and linked itself to form. And this we see here. The immersed soul is within the chrysalis and really unborn and hardly in a condition of freedom, although the powers that will make the immersed soul free stand behind, as it were, walking upon the waters of substance. The disciple finds himself between the night of the form world and the dawn of soul contact, and we see that as well. The left side of the image is as of night, ruled by the moon, and the right side we see the solar glow of the rising sun. Through the crisis of death, as DK puts it, death of desire, death of the personality, and of all which holds him between the pairs of opposites. So Pluto, shown in this image, midway between the moon and the dawning light, has shifted this disciple's focus away from the world of form to a place of deep introspection, yet he still does not see the radiance of the higher realms. So we see that he's in this state of introspection. Here is Pluto, as it were, between the lunar and solar realms. Pluto helping us make that transition out of our habitual lunar life towards the dawning light. We can already see that the dawning light is affecting the chrysalis, and the time of breaking free will come. Then we go on to another image. We talk here, Francis is speaking of the eye of the soul. These are DK's words. Upon the reversal of the wheel, the soul proceeds to detach itself from the personality and reattach itself in consciousness to the one who sent it forth. And such is the climaxing story of Pisces. So we have this idea of going forth into matter, and also the possibility of rising out of matter at the end of the long cycle of incarnation. Really, Pisces is in a way the first sign which takes us into the sea of matter in complete subjugation to all of the elemental forces. The intelligence has not dawned, and all we have is the sentiency, the ability to feel that which is impinging upon us, that which really is engulfing us. But eventually we are able to extricate ourselves from this habitual condition, which we think of as reality, but which in a way is the grossest illusion, until we can center ourselves within the higher consciousness and realize that everything we see is not only illusion, apparently, but reality itself in the essential sense. All right, so here he says, using a different set of metaphors, the eye of the soul depicts the next stage of the Pisces process, and a fish representing the vehicle of personality consciousness and its rider, the captive soul, have together navigated the waters of the lower quaternary for countless eons, and we see this here. Here is the vehicle, here is the immersed or subjugated rider, and they are inexorably drawn by the monad. The little one urges his Pisces vehicle to lift itself beyond its own watery element, and together they emerged from the dark waters of substance. Dark, apparently, because our consciousness is obscured. But in the rare atmosphere of soul contact, the fish, which is the personality itself, occultly dies. And he says, if you look closely, you'll see the night sky filled with those fish who have gone before. And this represents the transformative agency of Pluto, for as DK says, Pluto never destroys the consciousness aspect. And if we were to look behind this, I suppose you'd need pretty good eyes here, but all the fish, the personalities that have gone before, are as if in the night sky. I was looking at this, this is representing the eye of the soul behind all things. This is the story of the sun and the moon representing the personality rising towards the sun. It is really the eye within the triangle. Interestingly enough, here is the triangle, and here are a progression of polygons, each one with a greater number of sides. We go from the 3 to the 4 to the 5 to the hexagon to the heptagon, and on and on and on, inevitably with the Christ aspect over seeing this rising out of the waters of substance. So you know how it is with Pisces people. They are so often at first subject to substance. They are very sensitive to the soul of substance, and they are overwhelmed and overcome by it and fall victim to many glamours and arrangements which are not real. But gradually this very sensitivity that makes them subject to the lower realms helps them extricate themselves from these lower realms, and they rise finally towards the hierarchy and even towards Shambhala. We're told that for the Pisces individual, those strongly under the rule of Pisces, they not only become world servers, they become world saviors, and they achieve this in connection with Shambhala at the 5th initiation. So it's a very arduous path, this path of the world saviors, and it takes them to the gates of Shambhala. Most are content with following their path towards the hierarchy and become world servers. That is beautiful enough, expansive enough, very helpful. But a few have this rare quality of will, ruled by Pluto, which opens the door to Shambhala, which will take them to those higher gates. And here in the background is such a lord of will. We see his Kundalini is completely active, and he is spurring the development of the immersed soul within the chrysalis. So it's a great sign of liberation, Pisces is, and even though many people are going through difficult times in relation to Pisces because so much of the karma they have generated over the many life cycles comes home to roost, still it is a great sign of liberation. Liberation into the true spiritual will, and even beyond that, into the monadic will. The old saying is, and I think DK brought this out, that those who do the will of God shall know. And it's a question of doing what you know is correct to do, and then the knowledge of the inner worlds and the knowledge of the higher worlds will be opened to us. So although many people in Pisces suffer greatly, and look, we're at the end of the Piscean age here, and humanity is suffering. The vernal equinox is moving gradually backwards, so to speak, through the signs. It's moving in a kind of a clockwise order, and it's in the last few degrees, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degree of Pisces. We're not yet into the age of Aquarius until 2117. So much suffering is going on here, as humanity itself is part of the 4th initiation of the planetary logos. And Pisces, as we realize, is one of those signs in which the 4th initiation can be taken. Of course, don't just presume that because you have a lot of Pisces you're taking that. It also is a sign involved very much with the 2nd initiation, in which the astral waters are calmed and rendered subject to the power of the soul, and the whole situation is deglamorized. So when we're working with Pisces, we want to help people overcome their glamours, and we want to help ourselves overcome our own glamours. I mean, we are in a stage in the world right now where the glamour of religious approach, or illusory religious approach, is very powerful, and DK has warned us that if there is a war to come, and he really hopes there is not, the Christ himself is doing all he can to prevent such a final war. It will be in the department of religion, and we know that Pisces, at the end of the age of Pisces, is seeing this emergence of certain world religions that are in conflict with each other and have captivated the mind of humanity in the field of glamour. And we must help using the growing Aquarian mentality to dissipate that glamour and reveal a clearer and truer scientific, spiritual scientific truth. And of course, the deep intuition and wisdom of the higher type of Pisces will help us in that task. Okay, friends, well, there's a lot to think about here. You have another, 20 hours or so before the actual Pisces full moon, so we try to build up our sensitivity to humanity's suffering and the method of its release, so that the human being can stand free from all of those attractions, those addictions, those compromises which have been made because of identification with the unreal. Okay, we come to the point of our meditation then. And we are, we're not quite in the day of safeguarding. We're still in the day of dedication, confidence, physical, aspiration, astral, dedication of the mind to the growing truth and reception of the higher possibilities. And then we enter 12 hours before, at least that's how I conceive it, 12 hours before the full moon, this growing safeguarding of the incoming energy. Master DK has said, at least to his groups of the time, that he would be very watchful, and maybe other masters too, for the approach of the students to the higher energies, and he would single them out and try to reinforce and strengthen that approach to the hierarchy. So the minute the 12 hours before the full moon occurs, which would be, I guess it would be 5:08 approximately a.m. on the 16th, GMT, and therefore in the United States at least, still today, the watchful hierarchy, let us presume, is keeping an eye open for those who approach in the right manner. Then we will have this day of safeguarding, receiving and holding the energy and protecting it, letting it build, letting it accumulate, and then distribute it through a day of registration, a day of the sense of expectancy, and finally confirmed belief that it is so on the physical plane. The 7-day full moon process. And really the masters even have it longer. From the time of the new moon they are rising, and then all the way to the next new moon they are distributing. So we got ready to work in meditation together. There appear to be about 90 of us, or almost 90 of us here, and that's a very good showing. Very happy you've managed to come together, and we are so sorry that we're not able to give our usual exact moment full moon in Pisces from Finland, but many factors have conspired to make that not possible this time. So wherever you may be doing your full moon, let's all tune in together and with the soul of humanity and attempt to lift and serve and save that consciousness which is struggling so hard in Maya, glamour, and illusion. So let us achieve our sense of comfort, alert and yet comfortable position for our meditation. And we realize that our instrument is the personality, the lower fish, as it were, and that is what we are so often involved with. The consciousness is so often trapped in the sense of physicality, emotionality in the lower mind, but we withdraw our consciousness from the personality, from its vehicles. We realize the old Raja Yoga saying, I have a body, but I am not that body. I have my emotions and feelings, but I am not those emotions and feelings. I have a lower mind, but I am not those thoughts and that thinking process. I am something else. I am the soul in incarnation, at first at least. I am the immersed soul. I am consciousness, which is constantly facing the senses, the astral forces, the lower mental forces. I am consciousness beholding these fields. I'm something else, something more real. And as I withdraw inward, I find myself entering this field of light, of love, and of spiritual power, which is always here, even though it seems veiled to us so often. It's present, and the presence of these higher energies, they begin to dawn on us. It is where we are in the higher aspect of our nature. And we begin to merge ourselves into the sense of soul, which is our truer home. Maybe not our ultimate home in the monad spirit, but a truer home than the immersion of consciousness in the personality. And we begin to blend with all others who are in the state of soul. We merge ourselves into the deep sense of the group soul. All of us who are gathered here now, not as personalities, but really as beings focusing together on the mental plane as it is infused by the higher mental plane. We're becoming one in soul with the spiritually minded people of the world, with the members of the new group of world servers all over the world, one in soul, with the men and women of goodwill all over the world, and finally with every human being, whatever the stage of development must be, we all are souls together in the one soul, even if our vehicles are not yet expressing that. The one soul of humanity, can we feel it? Can we sense it behind the appearances of things? Can we look at others and say, the soul within is what I detect, and not just the outer form? The one soul of humanity, really the one being of humanity with its one consciousness, the soul. And we use the ancient second ray mantra, naught is but me. Already naught is but I. Naught is but me. No matter how much difference there seems to be, the differences of all kinds and the differences in degree of evolution, makes no difference really, essentially. Naught is but me. From our illumined point of focus, we can begin to sense this unity of the human family. We in this group that are meditating, we focus on the higher plane of mind so that the soul can illumine that mind. We bring the soul into our group mind. We feed our perception with the will of the soul, with the will to initiate of the first ray and the will to unify of the second, the will to evolve of the third, the will to harmonize of the fourth, the will to act of the fifth, the will to cause of the sixth, the will to manifest of the seventh. Our soul-infused group mind is absorbing the group soul. Our sense of togetherness is very strong in the spiritual sense. And from that point of group mental tension, we imagine the rainbow bridge. All of the energies of our group personality drawn together to a point of tension from which our intention is to create this bridge of light. For each one of us, a dual colored bridge that we can see. The two colors being the colors of our soul and personality, red for the first ray, indigo the second, green the third, yellow the fourth, orange, one of the colors for the fifth ray, rose, one of the colors for the sixth, and violet for the seventh ray. And if you are not sure of the solar personality, just use the color indigo. We each have a line of dual-colored light of our soul and personality ray. Tune in with the colors of your bridge, your imagined bridge. And it rises imaginatively to touch into the realm of the triad, where the abstract mind and its permanent atom are found, where the intuition and its permanent atom are found, where the spiritual will and its permanent atom are found, the bridge touching the triad, and therefore receptive to the one who comes forth to meet our ascending intention and projection. And finally, imaginatively, we touch in with the spirit itself, the monad, the one, that is everybody and everything. It is pure being. And at the heart of every monad is that pure being, which we essentially are, and will know we are when we extract ourselves from all of our illusions. So come en rapport with your dual-colored bridge and realize that all of us in the group, we have all the many colors, whether a personality or soul. We're all blended together as we rise imaginatively through the triad and into the spirit itself, cone-like, like a great conical pyramid, sort of the pyramid and the cone, the same idea. We'll go inward to the very center, find that bluish-white light, as if from Sirius. And we will use a word of power. There are 7 words of power, but we will use the second ray word of power for the group. It is, I see the greatest light. And as we sound the Om externally 3 times, we will inwardly intensely think as we see the brilliant white light race across the bridge, connecting us with our higher aspects. We will think, I see the greatest light. We'll use this on one of the second ray notes. Inwardly, I see the greatest light. Outwardly, the Om. It's the great light of the second ray, the greatest light. And Pisces is the cosmic decanate, which brings in to our system the second ray. Which is for us the synthetic ray. And so our meditation is done, as it were, under the influence, the umbrella of this ray. So the thoughts higher than the personal, even planetary thoughts, can come to us to help us fuse and blend in the pervasive wisdom of Pisces, the many conflicting factors, thus bringing an approach to salvation for our planet and for humanity. And imaginatively then we join our elder brothers, the masters in the hierarchy. They are always working within the realm of the triad, and we occasionally make approach to try to understand this realm in which they work. At the very first, we will offer our salutations, and really what it is, our solidarity in co-creatorship with them. We are working with them for the fulfillment of the plan, the salvation of humanity in the lower kingdoms, the salvation of the planet. Whatever salvation is, during this period, we should experience it more deeply, not only serving but saving. What is it? And what great sacrifice is involved as we actually look out for the deepest welfare of our fellow human beings. Maybe we can come closer when we salute the hierarchy as DK had us do, offering our salutations. Maybe we can come closer to the kind of salvation, the will to save, which motivates them under the great Lord, the Christ. So our first salutations we offer to the Christ, who is the head of the hierarchy, the great master and the teacher of alike of angels and of human beings. Salutations to the Christ, the master of all masters. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we most closely work, the Master M, the Master KH, the Master DK. These are the three, we are told, who petition the hierarchy to bring the ageless wisdom closer to humanity. And thus individually, salutations to the Master Morya, the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to the Master Kutumi, whose ashram is doing the most to prepare for the reappearance of the Christ. He will be the Christ of the coming age of Capricorn some 2,200 years from now. Salutations to the Master Jwal Kul, the messenger of the hierarchy, who has given us the blue books, who works with all aspirants approaching the first, second, and even now the third initiation. Salutations to your own Master as you know him to be or conceive him to be. Salutations to the entire spiritual hierarchy of our planet. imaginatively, because really that's all we can do, we raise our thought to Shambhala, the inmost center, the center where the will of God is known, and with deepest reverence and in all humility we attempt, identified together as the group soul, to attune to the presence of Sanat Kumara, the king of Shambhala, standing at the very center of the council chamber. We attune. And as we attempt to understand what is this deep purpose of Sanat Kumara working out as the divine plan in all of our lives, we inwardly, deeply, silently sound a long, sustained inner Om. This is the kind of alignment we must learn to sustain through our days, but it is especially intensified at the times of the full moon. And so we will now begin to work with the energies, because we are aligned in a manner which will allow us to do so. We do it in a special way. We conceive of ourselves here as the group, as a point of light, love, and power. All that we normally conceive ourselves to be is reduced to a point, which is an essential point where our major three energies of the three aspects have come together. So conceive of that. Here we are, scattered all over the world, of course, in the time-space sense, and yet a point of light, of love, and of power, a great point of tension, hovering above the golden path which we know leads into the indigo center of the sun. The golden path stretches before us, and we are a unit of being, of consciousness, group being, group consciousness. And on that golden path we travel as the path shortens and shortens, into the indigo sphere, into the indigo sun, shorter and shorter, until all of us in that point are imaginatively absorbed into the indigo sun. And here it is, we, as if, meet the consciousness of Master DK, that great expert in planetary, solar, hierarchical energies, who has given us the science of esoteric astrology and of the rays. And we seek to become somewhat outposts of his consciousness, as if for a little while some aspect of his consciousness can permeate, can penetrate our understanding. Because we are going to attempt to come in touch with the energies now available. The energies of, at first, Jupiter, of Pluto, and in some very esoteric sense of Neptune, the rulers of the great constellation Pisces, informed by the Lord of the constellation Pisces, all these energies now intensified. And for our group and individual use, we will come in touch with Jupiter, the exoteric ruler, conveying beneficence and selfless generosity. We will come in touch with Pluto, the esoteric ruler, conveying the power to purge the personality of all hidden obstructions to soul infusion. And how interesting it is, from the Sabian symbol point of view, the full moon will occur in a degree 26 plus, the symbol of which is the purging of the priesthood. We as disciples, we attempt to be, in some informal sense, the priesthood of the hierarchy, helping, being intermediaries, so that the quality of hierarchy can reach others. But we must be purified, of course. And again, we will encounter Pluto in a higher sense, as the hierarchical ruler. The upward pointing arrow of death is Pluto, conveying the power to negate and even destroy the power of the personality as an inhibition to the expression of the soul. We are all so caught up in our personalities until the fourth initiation is taken. It is the case, but that identification can be destroyed and we can be set free. And finally, Neptune. It's a special ruler for Pisces. Intuited by Alan Leo, we are told, it is a special ruler, and it has to do with humanity's relationship to Pisces. Humanity as a whole relating to Pisces through Neptune, conveying transcendent compassion and the power to identify with all aspects of the soul, the higher soul and also the anima mundi, the soul of the world, the all-inclusive soul. These are the energies now available, more intensely available now, that we must touch and allow to flow through us and absorb, so that we can wisely distribute them in our immediate surroundings and over the world, over the globe, where they are needed. We are instruments of reception and distribution. We're not in it for our personal selves at all. We're in it to fulfill the plan, so that the purpose conceived in Shambhala may work out. And so at first we ponder upon the great sacred planet, Jupiter. Interestingly, the exoteric ruler, still deeply sacred, and working out, when we reverse the wheel, as faith, hope, charity, benevolence, selfless service, all the Christian virtues, as they might be called, but really found in the higher parts of all the world religions. Living a life of faith, of hope, of charity, of benevolence, of selfless service. we realize the beneficence of Jupiter overflowing like a great wave all the lesser states of consciousness and absorbing human consciousness into the great ocean of reality, into the great oneness, the wholeness which Jupiter represents. We so often forget it, you know. We just see ourselves and our environment, this and that and this and that. But it's a great oneness into which we can be absorbed as we learn to identify correctly, promising us salvation, release. And no matter how deeply immersed in matter, no matter how sad, how unhappy, how hopeless some people seem to be and even think they are, Jupiter gives the gift that can change all that. It gives the vision of the greater world ahead, the new horizon. We will succeed together. Jupiter promises us that. And we in our groups, we need that, so we imagine this beautiful power of Jupiter. You can even see the glyph in front of you. It almost looks like the number 4. The glyph of Jupiter can be in the color royal blue, indigo blue. As it flows into our own nature and into our groups, it's available. It's here. And we start to see how it is that Jupiter can improve our group functioning. We're all members of different groups, and how could the gifts of Jupiter come to us and improve the quality of our groups? And we'll see all the members of our groups improving, their health, their spirituality, their consciousness, everything about them improving as we sound the Om on that second ray Jupiterian note, the G. Use your imagination. Our groups really become one. And humanity too, in time. The oneness of humanity revealed. But we change our focus now for a moment. We go way out there in our solar system to the planet Pluto. Several planets out there together. They're all found in mythology. And they all reveal the basic qualities, but Pluto is the main one of that series. It's the hierarchical ruler of Pisces. It is not yet a sacred planet, yet it is a deeply esoteric planet. It really brings in the power of the will, the destructive power to get rid of all those limitations long buried in our nature. It is a healing planet. It's the healer with the power of the serpent. So when Pluto comes your way, may be unpleasant from the personality perspective at first, but the cleansing, the healing, the purging occurs. And then we are fit to receive and distribute the greater energies. So it's this agent for us, a purification. We all need it. Even the planetary Logos, who is many Mahakalpas ahead of us in evolution, even the planetary Logos from the cosmic sense needs purification. We all need it. Purification, expurgation of all the impediments that are hidden in the depths of our aura. We will be freed. We will have these things out of our system under the influence of Pluto. Pluto, which is killing all desire for life in the worlds of illusion. We may serve in the worlds of illusion, but we are not grasping for what is found in the world of illusion once Pluto has done its work. May we be healed and purified. May the accumulations of the ages, which now so block the divine within us, may they be cast out, dispersed, repelled, banished. That upward pointing arrow of death, one can visualize it in the colors black or deep red and black, so connected with Scorpio and, in a deeper sense, even with Pisces. We wish to be rid of these things so we may be healed. We see our groups being healed as this energy is flowing into our groups, causing a separation from all that holds us down into the lower worlds of hell. Not only the lower levels of the astral plane, those are the hell worlds, of course, but to the illusory interpretation of our worlds of the senses, making our everyday world a hell, because there is no deeper understanding. And if we intensify our understanding of Pluto, we will take it from the hierarchical perspective, as initiates do. And we will realize that Pluto, as the highest, in its highest aspect, acts as an agent for the spiritual triad and even of the monad. Think of those great sources deep within our nature. And conveys the power to cut away and destroy all limiting ties that bind the soul, our consciousness, to the perception of time and space. The limitations of time and space can be destroyed, releasing our consciousness into timelessness and spacelessness of the spiritual triad, and destroying the sense of separation that we have, so that we know that all are spirit and we are all. Pluto helping us realize naught is but me. helping us be done with Maya, glamour, illusion. Destroying unreality. Lead us from darkness to light, from the unreal to the real, from death to immortality. Giving us the power to sacrifice so that we may be free of death and enter the realm of immortality where we truly live as spirits. Our friend, the Lord of Death, Pluto, not to escape this lower world, but to transform it through deepened perception of reality. And this energy will come into our groups and will heal our groups and will purge our groups so that they may truly be accepted in the sight of hierarchy and truly help the plan manifest. And we will sound the Om on the note C sharp. And we will visualize the color red, crimson red, as we see these healing movements occur. And now on to the special ruler of Pisces, which is Neptune, associated with the transcendental influence of Pisces upon humanity as a whole. Realize the power. It's a deeply blue planet. If you've seen it in the sky, or, well, you can't see it with the naked eye, but as it has been photographed, profoundly blue. Its great second-ray monad. The power of Neptune to remove all egoistic barriers and boundaries between human beings, such that the oneness of humanity, its one soul and one spirit, are experientially realized through the power of identification. It is above all the planet of identification, deeply blue in its nature. You all know what it looks like, the trident. There it is before us. And no boundary can prevent us from knowing, as the Christ knows, that we are one being. This is maybe what we need more than anything. This reaching past all barriers to find identicality in everything and everyone. One being, transcendental monadic realization of Neptune one day for all of us, and every Pisces full moon closer and closer. The deep blue of Neptune. Coming into our groups, into all the world's servers, into all the men and women of goodwill, into all humanity, showing us the true ideal of spirit. Compassion, sensitivity, spiritual identification. We will feel ourselves imbued by those qualities as we sound the Om again on the blue note, feeling at this very sensitive time the fusion which Neptune can bring, the fusion in soul and identification in spirit. The Christ is said to be the true psychic because he can feel everything and knows that he is everyone. Inasmuch as you have done it unto the least of these, you have done it unto me. Who can say that except for one who truly identifies? And it is Neptune which is so closely related to our solar logos, with his present second-ray personality, his second-ray soul, and probably ultimately the second-ray monad, a great heart center. Neptune, the repository of the solar flames, blue Neptune, and our blue logos, inwardly, subjectively blue logos, who is a great heart center in the cosmic logos, pouring out love and wisdom. Each one of us is a monad, is a unit within that solar logos. We have our home within the sun in the subjective sense. And beyond all the presentations of the senses and of the lower worlds, we try to feel that home within the sun, the subjective sun. All of us, regardless of ray, astrology, race, country, continent, all monads within the sun, the central spiritual sun. And the heart of the sun is pouring forth all the time, but here in Pisces, with its most potent second ray, we feel it more intensely. Our heart is stimulated, our group heart, the heart of the sun. Stimulated by Pisces, touching our soul nature, all of us infused by the blue logos. We imagine. Imagination takes us there eventually. And as we move towards the constellation Pisces, that has a great Lord embodying it, far more advanced than our solar logos, the great Lord of the constellation Pisces. We think of the quality of light which comes from Pisces, the light of the world. This is the light revealing the light of life itself. So it reveals being. It ends forever the darkness of matter. Think of the potency of this light at this time. The light of the world. What did Christ say? I am the light of the world. This is the light, revealing the light of life itself. It ends forever the darkness of matter. And let that sink into our consciousness. This light that we can touch. And we think towards Pisces with its great second ray and sixth ray, with Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, a number of rays coming through Pisces, but especially the first and second. And now we're focusing together on the Lord of the constellation Pisces as that energy is mediated through our solar logos and to our planetary logos, to Sanat Kumara, the great Savior. That's how it comes to us. And we ponder now. What does it mean? I leave the Father's home, and turning back, I save. Wherever we are, in whatever circumstance, we can help others with this saving energy. We can make a difference as part of the great salvational stream. I leave the Father's home, and turning back, I save. This is the mantram of the world Savior, the mantram of the Christ, the mantram of the Christ within us. I leave the Father's home, and turning back, I save. As monads, we came forth long ago from the monadic plane with one purpose in mind: to descend and reascend, and thus save. May we somehow, all of us, blend in this salvational stream, no matter where we may be, no matter how humble our circumstances. We can be part of the great redemption which can turn everything around, fulfill the plan, save humanity and the planet, and see the divine purpose enacted. I leave the Father's home, and turning back, I save. From the one about whom naught may be said, the very heart of the Pleiades, in the supercosmic logos, and down out through the constellational heart of the tenfold zodiac, and into our zodiac of 12, with Pisces especially our focus now, and into the solar logos reinforcing the second ray, and to and through the planets Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, and to our Earth, where the great Savior, Sanat Kumara, receives this energy and distributes it to all monads, to all souls in the hierarchy through the Christ, and to all of us as human beings, personalities in the outer world, and into the heart of the head and the heart, and even to the base of the spine, represented by Pluto. This great saving energy flows. We are in that stream. Our world is in great stress. I'm sure you've all felt it this year. The grand cross in the skies, and what a great stress it is. A great stress is before us, and also a great opportunity to apply the salvational energy. We are in that flow, and we look out into the world where the saving energy is most needed, at least in terms of our own understanding. Where is this energy most needed? And we direct it there, together as a group, in this great alignment. We direct it close, afar. We direct it. see where the salvation is most needed in our own view. We send it forth. We send it forth. The flow of Piscean energy, the flow of the second ray energy. As it has affected us, as it works through us, we send it forth and see the saving force at work. The solution, the salvation, it lies in Pisces. And miracles can happen. What appear to be miracles under this great fusing energy of divine salvational love. Love, wisdom, through Pisces. We have time. The full moon is not yet. It will come at 5:08 and 18 seconds GMT tomorrow. That's PM. There's time to build this energy, to stay in the divine flow, to realize the magnificent sources which are stimulating all life at this time, all life in our solar system. We can embody this, identify with it, merge with all in one being. And as we do this, we will remember the power of the great invocation. Embodying the great invocation during this period of build-up to the Pisces full moon. Together then, imagining the flow going forward, imagining this flow reaching wherever it may be needed, from the point of light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Dear friends, stay in the energy. Another 19 hours or so. We will have the actual full moon. Be with it until then. Intensify the energy within yourself and become a truly receptive and distributing agent as an individual and in your groups for this great saving energy, so much needed at the end of this age of Pisces and this transition into the age when the Christ will emerge even more fully. Brett and I will try to get this out to you as soon as we can so that you can use it if you wish at the time of the full moon or thereabouts, or possibly during the days of distribution. I thank you all for coming. There have been maybe 93 or 90, some 92, 93 of us. That's very good. At 100, that's it. No more can be part of it, so appreciate your presence. And let's stay in this community of fusion, this community of salvation, realizing, what an honor it is to know about these things and to be able to participate with the Christ and his hierarchy in this great work. Many blessings, and we'll see you all, well, on the inside as the full moon approaches. Many blessings. Bye for now.